We gotta start with the cp command to copy files. Almost always we will use the copy command without any options, but there are a few options that are very useful. So the first one is -i. Let's take a look at -i, and what this does is ask for confirmation. Are you sure you want to copy it, because there is a target with that name already. So let's do that. Let's take a look at that. I'm going to clean up a little bit. I'm going to move all these files that I created, ABC and mylist and mylist.copy and the numbered list and some file and some other file and the XYZ file and the XYZ plus file. I'm going to put all of that into this A directory because I really don't need these files. These are just examples. So the move command takes a list of files, puts that somewhere else. Okay, so now if I do an ls, they're all gone. Oops, I missed one. Move this backup file, because I'm not sure, also into the A directory. Now I do an ls, they're not there. I've cleaned up my file system. If I go to the A directory, notice I cd to A and the prompt changed. It tells me that I'm in the A directory of my home directory. And now if I do an ls, all those files are there. Good. Okay, so let's say, now let's take a look at copy space -i. So I want to say I do something like this. CP, I want to create a copy of ABC, sorry, I'm going to put -i, ABC, and I'm going to call it mylist.copy. Maybe this is not something I want to do. Okay, so what I'm saying is copy ABC and make the name of the copy mylist.copy. However, that file exists, and if you use the -i option, it'll ask you, are you sure you want to do this? So it'll say overwrite this mylist.copy, because you're going to lose a file that already exists. You can say no or yes. Y for yes. And now if you look, ABC is size 192 and mylist.copy is bigger, so it definitely did not make that copy. You can actually override it. Here's another thing that you can do, is the -b option. That is, let's say I'm sure I want to make a copy of ABC called mylist.copy, but I want to make a backup copy of this. You can do that with cp space -b. So here's the source, ABC, and here's the destination, mylist.copy. So I'm doing the same thing as before. It won't ask me, but because I use the -b option, what it's going to do is, since this file already exists, it's going to make a backup copy of this. And take a look at this. Keep in mind that the original size of mylist.copy was 204 bytes. Okay, let's do this, and now do an ls space -l and look at the difference. So now you have a new mylist.copy, which is the same size as ABC, so chances are they are exactly the same. You can try it, test it out. So these two are the same. But here's another thing that it did. It created a backup copy of the destination with a tilde added to the end. Okay, so if you cat mylist.copy, it should be exactly the same as ABC. Okay, so they're exactly the same. Take my word for it, they're the same. Now, what you want to do is cat mylist.copy with a tilde, and you notice it's completely different. Okay, so try this out. copy minus B, A, B, C, and then anything you want. Let's try it again. This is probably not something you want to do, but sometimes you have a file, you are pretty sure you want to make a copy of it and call it something else. Maybe that file already exists. If it does, make a backup. Let's see what happened. Okay, so now this time around I made a copy, and it made a backup of mylist.copy, but it was exactly the same. So you can do it once. If you do it twice, that's it. You're stuck. You've destroyed that. You've lost your old mylist.copy. Okay. So that's minus B and minus I. Minus R is a very powerful way of copying entire folders and all their subfolders and everything into a new folder. So it's almost always used only with folders or directories. You can use minus minus recursive. It does the same thing. You can use minus minus verbose to explain what is being done. Things like that. So let's try that out. I'm going to make dir. In this directory A, I'm going to make a directory called B. Okay, I'm going to move ABC into this directory B. I'm going to move mylist.copy also into this directory B. So now if I do an ls, I have the B directory. I have a bunch of things moved into there. I'm going to remove this mylist.copy tilde. I don't need it. Okay, that's good. So let's say I want to make a complete copy of everything in B, and let's see what's in B. Two files, abc and mylist.copy. And here's what I can do. I can make a complete copy of B called C. And what I'm going to do is try this, minus minus verbose. Okay. So what it did was it says, okay, I'm going to make a copy of B called C. I'm going to copy B slash this first file into C slash file with the same name. I'm going to copy B slash ABC as C slash ABC. So now if I do an lsb, see two files, lsc, see the exact same two files. Okay. So you can combine these. You can combine the R, the I, and the B. You can combine. You can use in the more wordy options using minus minus. So try these out. Okay. So assuming that let's say you have moved a file called report into memos, and you want to create a backup of this file. If it already exists, you can do something like cp-b report, and ordinarily without the minus b, all this will do is copy this report directly into memos. If it already exists, what will happen is when you use cp-b, you have a file called report here, you have a file called report here, and if you use minus b, what it'll do is it'll say, wait a minute, the destination already exists, so since you asked for a backup minus b, I'm going to create a backup called the same name with a tilde added to the end of the name. And then I'm going to copy this to over here. Okay, so try that out. And you can also use the minus I option, the minus R option. We took a look at that. You can use the more wordy versions of these options using minus, interactive, recursive, verbose. And you can do similar things with the move command. We looked at it very briefly. You can, when you say something like this, what move really does is rename. You can think of it that way. It sort of works. If you have a file called report and you want to call it report.old, just say move report.old. So if you have a file called report, execute the move command, and all it really does is change the name of the file. Okay, pretty straightforward. You can also move it to a different folder. If you have a report, say move this file to a different folder. All it does is essentially put this file, take it out of David, put it into memos. Okay, and as we saw, we just earlier in this video, you can take a whole bunch of files, move all of them into a directory in one shot. And move has the same kinds of options that CP has, -B for backup, -I for interactive. It'll ask you, are you sure you want to move it if that target file already exists? To force the move to happen no matter what, use -F. This is something you want to be careful. I would say probably most of the time you want to stay away from using the -F option. -V will explain what is being done, just like we saw with the copy command, CP. So try these out. Set up simple files so that you can try the move command, the CP command, and we'll continue in the next video with making shortcuts, or links as they're called in Unix.